Alright everybody, welcome back. In this video we're going to be talking about strings and string slices. Okay, so let's start with strings. So strings are stored on the heap. So it's very important that memory is cleaned up. And what is the heap? So the heap is used to store data in the same or in some variable amount that won't be known until the program is running. So since a string doesn't know how much memory to allocate at runtime, that is why we use the heap. So strings are actually a collection of bytes, so ones and zeros. And a computer reads these, converts them, and displays them into groups of characters for us to read. So in other programming languages like JavaScript or Python, you can make a string simply by initializing a variable, setting it equal to some quotes with some characters inside those quotes. But in Rust, it's much more complicated than that. I wouldn't say much more, but it's definitely an extra step. So unlike those programming languages that take out the complexity of a string, Rust does not, in order to maintain its speed. So it's basically a trade-off. There's a little bit more complexity with making a string, but it's going to be faster than other languages, and vice versa. In other languages, it's super simple to make a string and to manipulate it, but it's going to make your program a lot slower. Alright, so let's start off by just making an empty string. Okay, so how do we make a variable that will house a string for us? So to do so, we'll say let's mute, and we'll just say my string. We'll set it equal to string, double-colon, and new. So now this variable can hold an empty So now this variable can hold a string for us. There's nothing inside just yet, but as you can see by the analyzer, it's saying it can take any string. Alright, so what if we want to give a value to our string? How do we do that? So, a little known fact about me, I love country music, so I'm using some country music examples within this. So let's say we're going to have a variable called my man Eric Church. We're going to set him to string. We're going to say string, double-colon, from. We'll throw in some parentheses, and then we'll add our string, like you would in like JavaScript or Python. And we'll just throw in his name. Alright, cool. So there you go. That's how you create a string initialized to some value. Alright, so let's print out the string and see what we get. Alright, we'll save this. We'll hit go cargo. Oh, it's already typed out. Cargo run. Let it build for a quick second. Alright, and there we go. But as you can see, I misspelled the name. So let's fix that real quick. Save it. We'll run it again. And there we go. So it prints out our string for us. Alright, so now let's take a look at string slices, which are a little bit different from strings. So slices let you reference a contiguous sequence of elements in a collection rather than the whole collection. So by collection, we mean the string itself, so the collection of characters and numbers. And so we can reference parts of that string or a slice of that string rather than the whole string itself. So we can take out parts as a reference. And so basically you can access specific characters that make up a sequence. Alright, so let's take a look at some examples. Let's make a new variable. We'll call this Eric. Be consistent. We'll set it equal to a reference to our Eric Church variable that we made above. As you can see, it's still up there. Alright. And then we will grab part of it. We will grab the name Eric. So we'll say we want the first index, which will be 0, because a slice will be 0 index as well, just like a vector or an array. And we'll use the double period and then the last element we want. So it will be from 0 to 4. All right, awesome. So let's print that out. All right, we'll save it, we'll run it. There we go. We have Eric. Perfect. So we grabbed just that slice of that string we made before. All right, and so we can actually convert a string slice into an actual string. So if we come down here and we say let's stir to string equal Eric, our variable from above, our string slice. We'll say Eric dot to string, and there you go. As you can see from the analyzer, this is going to be a string, and just like above, it changed from a string slice into a string. So there we go. So cool things about strings is that they can actually grow and shrink in size, similar to a vector, and you can actually push and pop onto a string. So you can push characters or an extra string onto an existing string, or you can pop, meaning you can remove characters or remove a string from an existing string. So let's take a look at those. So we're going to say let's mute. I'm going to call my variable Luke Combs equal to string from, we're just making a new string here. So we're just going to say Luke for our string. All right, and we're going to say Luke Combs dot, so we're going to use the dot push string. So push underscore string, str. And we're going to push onto our string a space and Combs. Awesome. And then we'll just print it out here. And we will run it. There we go. So as you can see before, with this initial variable, we just set it to Luke. So inside here is just Luke. And then we push on a string of space and Combs. So at the end, when we print it out, it will be the full Luke space Combs. So now we're going to talk about string concatenation. And what is concatenation? Basically just means you have one thing, you have another thing, you're going to put it together. In this case, we have one string and another string. We're going to put these two strings together. This is essentially what we did with push string above. But instead, we're going to be using the plus operator for this example. So we're going to say let Chris equal to a new string from, and we'll just put in Chris. There we go. And then we'll say let Stapleton equal, as well as a new string. So string from, and then we'll do space Stapleton. There we go. All right, so to do string concatenation with a plus operator, this is what we'll do. So we'll make a new variable. We'll put it together. We'll say Chris Stapleton equals, we'll add a Chris, the first string, and then we'll have to add a reference to our second string. So we'll do the reference operator and Stapleton. And there we go. So we'll print that and see what we get. All right, perfect. Let's save it, run it. There we go, Chris Stapleton, perfect. So that's how we, again, took a string, another string, and combined them together. So there's actually one more way we can perform string concatenation. It's the last thing we'll be talking about in this video. So we can, again, perform string concatenation with the format method. And I'll show you how to do it right now. So we'll make another variable again, we'll say Zach Brown. Again, we'll make it a new string from there we go. So we have our first string, and then we'll make another one just like before. Oops. Again, set it to a string. Perfect. All right. So we have our two strings, and now how do we use the format method? So what we'll do is we'll make, again, another variable. We'll call it the full Zach Brown band this time. And what we'll say is format, exclamation point, and then parentheses. So this will take in our two strings. It's kind of like the print, like we have up here. So it takes in a parameter or argument, yes, an argument, and it'll insert this string into this argument here. So we'll put in two arguments because we have two strings to concatenate, and we'll put in our two variables. So it was Zach Brown, and then band. All right. Let's see, we got a problem. I misspelled string. Fix that right up. And oh, don't forget your quotation marks. Yes, just like in print line, you need to have your quotation marks. So save that. There we go. Perfect. So we'll print it. There we go. There we go. All right, so we'll save. We'll run it. And there we go, Zach Brown band. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you liked the video, please let me know by hitting the like button. And if you want more Rust videos like this, make sure you subscribe, because I plan on putting them out at least once, if not twice a week, along with other content pertaining to software engineering and web development. So if you do like those, make sure you guys subscribe. And thank you for watching.